Hello and welcome back to another out of spec detailing video here from Clear Detailing in Northern Colorado. Next to me here we have a brand spanking new 2024 F-150 Raptor with the 37 package on it. Now this is coming in for basically everything. We're going to be doing a full paint correction on this, a full polish, ceramic coating the paint, ceramic coating all of the black plastic trim on here, coating the wheels, doing absolutely everything. So I'm going to bring you guys along with me for this entire detail, getting this brand new Raptor absolutely dialed in. Welcome back. Let's jump into it. Now this is going to be quite a large project. Anytime we have big trucks like this, a Rivian R1T that I get here in the shop feels tiny compared to something like an F-150 Raptor here. But this is going to be an awesome project. Now, typically with a detail like this, it's going to be around 4 to 5 days going through absolutely everything. I'm expecting to put north of 40 plus hours in this vehicle to get it absolutely dialed in. Now, y'all may be thinking this is absolutely crazy on a 700-mile Raptor to be doing that. But let me tell you, these things never come in perfect. So paint will have quite a few scratches on it. We want to get those absolutely dialed in before we apply the ceramic coating to it. Now, the whole point of doing this is, of course, we have this large black Raptor here. They are a pain in the butt to wash and maintain. So by applying a ceramic coating on there, the truck is going to stay cleaner longer, but then when it does get dirty, it's going to be a heck of a lot easier to foam down, do a quick contact wash on it, and wash all of the dirt and grime away. You can see this truck has already been used quite a bit. We've had a very stormy spring here in Colorado, so tons of water spots on here. In this particular area of Windsor, Colorado, we have construction everywhere, so lots of dirt flying around, and you can see that to be the case here. Now on the front, quite a few bugs in here, nothing too bad. You can see we've got a nice large insect sitting in there. But this truck really requires a lot of detail for something that is so large. Body lines on this are not that straightforward to quickly polish. They take quite a bit of time. I typically have to use a lot of small machines on this, going down to a 3-inch pad, getting in areas like this that are kind of that wide body section underneath the lights here. And as you can see the hood, this is not an easy area to work on. The truck's also huge. Like, I can barely reach. This is full extension here on the truck. So doing the entire roof. Now this one does have a sunroof, thankfully, but doing the entire roof, getting all the paint dialed in up there, ceramic coated, does take quite a bit of time. Now, as I talked about, we're going to be doing paint correction and polish on the paint. That's going to be our biggest amount of time into this. We don't want to put on a ceramic coating to a paint that is basically imperfect. This thing has quite a few scratches on it. Now, it's completely filthy right now. If I bring out the scan grip light, you can see, you can barely even see the finish of the paint. But if you come over here on this B pillar, you can see scratches everywhere. We've got fingerprints, so all of that's going to get dialed in. Now, after we get this thing washed, we'll of course go through and assess what this brand new 2024 Raptor actually looks like. Are there scratches absolutely everywhere? Is it pretty reasonable? From what I can see here, I do see quite a few scratches underneath the dirt, but I've looked around this truck a little bit and haven't really seen anything that stands out to me going, oh my gosh, this is going to be a disaster. So good news on that part, but definitely quite a bit of work to do. Now here on the wheels and tires, you can already see tires looking quite old already. They're brown, discolored. We have a ton of brake dust here on the beadlock wheels, which look awesome, but I'm very excited for this project. One of the other large areas that we're going to focus on this Raptor is getting all of this textured black plastic ceramic coated. So all these little vents, they are very intricate to get in here and hand coat. Even areas all the way up there, it's quite far to reach. Now these fender flares, I've worked on quite a few Raptors in my detailing career. These are definitely a little different than I remember. These almost seem to me like they're a fiberglass piece that is matte painted. I want to get all the dirt off and see what they're actually like. So this is a very different trim from this. Now I'm curious to see what kind of coating I'm going to come up with to actually use on here. So the coatings are basically going to be this. We're going to be using Geon Infinite Base Type 1 on the paint, which is a 5-year warranted ceramic coating made, of course, by Geon. It's a pro level only coating. Absolutely love the stuff. So it goes all over the paint, even headlights and areas like that. Now all the black plastic trim areas like this grill here, we use G-Technic C4 Permanent Trim Restorer, which is a funny name for it because it's definitely not permanent. Lasts about 2 years. Now areas like this, again, these to me are metal bumpers and they look like they're matte painted. So we'll be using a different coating on there. And of course, with the wheels, we'll be using something different as well. Now my goal with this is to remove the wheels, to coat the actual barrels. We'll tidy up the suspension. That is definitely seeing a little bit of dirt in here. Put a sealant on the entire suspension and coat the wheels. We'll also be jumping into the interior because yes, it's good, but it is definitely not perfect. You can already see in here a little bit of dog hair. We've got the mats that are completely filthy. Sorry for the bings and bongs. Now, I am curious for those of you viewers watching this, which truck would you rather have here? The out-of-spec Tesla Cybertruck Cyber Beast or an F-150 Raptor? I still think it'd be cool to see a Lightning Raptor, fully electric Raptor that can go shred on Baja mode, but have the ease and use of fun EVs. So this video is going to be more of a showcase on what I do in these particular large jobs like this. I'm going to show you essentially as much as I possibly can. Everything from our prep stage here, washing, decontaminating the paint, then going into the entire paint correction stage, then rewashing the truck after the messy, dirty compounding, then doing the wheels and tires, then pulling it back into the bay, polishing the truck, then ceramic coating all of the paint, plastic, everything on the exterior, jumping inside as well. It's going to be a long one. So I hope you enjoy it. Now, after we wash this, I am going to put over some B-roll of any scratches I find so we can kind of get a good idea of how this truck looks before, how this truck looks after. I think this is going to be a fun one. So let's waste no more time. Let's jump into it. And we are done with the Raptor. It's ready to go back to the customer. Of course, I am just kidding. We are literally just at the beginning stages. Man, I forgot how much panels and how large these trucks are to get all the way to the roof, how big these things are, and what a freaking pain in the butt they are to just wash. So we've got our work cut out for us here. Now, the paint here looks pretty good, and I would agree with you on camera. When you put something like a Scan Grip light on there though, it looks very dull to me. It looks very hazy. There's a lot of scratches all over this, so we'll get into that. Now, I always get questions on this particular device of why does it matter if you can see scratches with this? Essentially, guys, what this tries to do is mimic the sun. Now, the sun is a fixed point in the sky at any given hour, of course. So it's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon right now on a Saturday that I'm filming this. So I could take it outside. I could see scratches, swirl marks, and things up here on the hood. But what about down here? So that's the beauty of a Scan Grip light, is I can take this thing and I can move it anywhere I please. Now I just want to take you a quick walkthrough on this truck because I found quite a few scratches on here and some sanding marks. So let's jump into this. Now, here on the edge, you notice this white marring or marks in here? That's actually from either a compound or a polish. Now, I would assume this was at the factory, as I can see some nice scuffing marks here. Typically, dealerships won't do this unless something happened once it got to the dealership. They noticed a big scratch, they quickly try and polish it out. But this is not the way we leave stuff. So up here, you can see some pretty good scratching there right by that mirror. Tons of scratches up here. The paint to me, again, it just looks dull. I don't know any better way to describe it than that. It looks fine here, but once you put a light on it or even, you know, it's sitting outside, it just looks very blah to be honest. And you would expect a metallic black truck like this to be a little bit brighter and crisper, but we're gonna get there once we get this paint corrected. Now here, big scratch as the camera is having a very hard time focusing here. Hello camera, but you can see that. So we'll get all of that dialed in. You can see some more marring up here on the hood. The camera is just struggling right now, but you can see those scratches right in there. So let's move down the doors and see how we're looking here. Now, in this fender, this actually looks quite good. I would say, not bad whatsoever. Now, as I move down here, it's a little hard to see on camera, but you can definitely see as I move this around. I want you to look above and below that light source and of course to the side, and you'll definitely be able to pick up some scratches there. Now they show up a little bit more faint on this just because of the lighting source back here, but you can easily see them in person. So just little scuff marks like this everywhere. Down the door, traditional white marks, likely from the dealership, quickly washing this up when it came back in. Now back here, some interesting parts. So right here, see this nice dull spot? Maybe you can even see it. No, not really, but you can see it very visibly here. And even in person, I can clearly see, boom, it's right there. Guys, what this is a sanding mark. Now, typically what happens when they're painting cars at the factory, they'll get a little dust nib in here, they'll quickly sand it. Now, I see this all the time on cars like Rivians, and when Rivians first came out, it was probably 20 to 30 of these spots all over it. And it's funny that they don't even polish them out. So funny to see that a Ford has it here. Again, look at all the scratches up and down of that light source there. Quite a few on this fender. Again, 700-mile Raptor here, folks. This is how cars come in. We have another sanding mark right here. We've got little scratches all over the back. Then I move to the taillights. Taillights here, tons of micro scratches all over them. So of course, be getting that compounded and polished out. These trucks, again, every single vehicle, whether it's a $250,000 GT3 RS, whether it's a Ford Raptor or something like a Tesla, they all really come in like this. They are never perfect. That's why I spend 40 plus hours on a brand new vehicle, getting them absolutely dialed in. Back here, you can see some more scratches, of course. This particular area where the grab handle is, you can see some deeper scratches in there. Again, nothing is completely out of the ordinary here on this truck, just little micro marring all over the place. Now this will be a two-stage compound and polish on this. I am not a believer in one-step polishes and getting 50% of the scratches out. Let's get the thing as close to perfect as we can with leaving the most amount of paint on the vehicle and then get it ceramic coated. Now down here, you can see a large scratch going along the door there. Now that may of course be from the actual owner of this truck. It could have been delivered like that, whatever, it doesn't really matter, but you can see, holy smokes, these A pillars, or I guess this is the B pillar here, looks absolutely terrible. More scratches here right above the door handle. So we've got our work cut out for it. And again, these things just take forever. So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna get the Raptor into the bay, start the paint correction. Now, funny backstory about this bay that I made back here. I actually used, when I built this entire shop out, I used an F-150 Raptor's dimensions to be able to work out if my cabinets could fit back there without sticking out of this bay, and I used a Raptor. So I think this is pretty cool yet again to have one here, just in case you guys were interested. But let's get this and the Cybertruck swapped around and get compounding. And here we are back out in the bay to where we started. Now, you guys saw me in that entire time lapse do the full paint correction. And I have to tell you, the Raptor is not an easy truck to buff on. What I mean by that is it's very intricate. The paint's also a little weird when I do want to touch on that. But there's lots of stuff to tape off. This whole kind of hood vent up here. Then you get into areas like the wide body here where you actually have to apply tape here because you don't want to be hitting your buffer against the headlight housing. It'll mar it up and look terrible. Just every single panel took so much time, but I'm very happy with the results. You guys saw me areas like on the door handles here, what I was having to do, tape up the handle here, basically do the outside of it and then wipe that off and then retape it to do the physical handle. It just takes so much time. Now you'll notice the truck is very dusty right now. All of this compound powder on it. That's why I do the initial compounding stage. It's kind of a messy process, and arguably I would say the truck kind of looks worse at this stage. This is the worst time for a customer to ever stop by and come look at their car because they're like, what the heck are you doing to this thing? So the next process is going to be a full foam cannon on this. We're gonna let it dwell, rinse the truck off, dry it again, and then we'll get into working on the wheels. During that, I will detail the engine bay here and I'll be cleaning it up. Just a light simple green. I haven't even popped the hood on here. I don't expect it to be super dirty. Light simple green on there, quick agitation if need be, and I'll basically seal it or coat it with Geon wet coat. It's gonna go all over basically the plastics, any rubber hosings, everything in the engine bay. Just gives it a nice little layer of protection. It's a sprayable coating, so you basically have the engine bay after it's clean, have it wet, spray this stuff down, creates a bunch of beads on there, and it'll last around 6 months or so on painted panels, areas like that, but it's gonna help keep the engine bay clean, and importantly, not using a dressing on there that's going to attract dirt. It's going to repel it, so very pleased with that. Now let me show you how the truck actually looks now. So again, the paint was funny here. So I originally started going, okay, there's quite a few scratches in it. I haven't worked with this metallic black paint from Ford, and my findings were it was pretty darn soft. So I grabbed kind of one of my more aggressive compounds out there. It was CarPro Ultra Cut, one of my real go-to for chasing these heavier scratches, sanding marks, and things like that. Put it on here, and it basically concreted. What I mean by that is typically when we use a very aggressive compound on ultra soft paint, you're pulling paint off so rapidly that it just creates this absolute mess on the actual panel. So step down a little bit, use Koch Chemie red compound, absolutely knocked it out of the park. Now, what we do have on here is a little bit of haze. Now, it's a little harder to see. Maybe we can see it on there. So around that light source, you can see it's a little dull. You can see kind of marks all the way around it. That's what our polishing stage is going to do. So it's important, in my opinion, to do a 2-stage paint correction instead of trying to do it all in one, because you're running into the fact of we had deep, heavy scratches on here, but we want to finish it out to perfection. Now, in hard paints, you have to throw the heaviest compound at it, lots of pressure, lots of heat typically, but then polishing is really easy. So on soft like this, I think we got a good in between where polishing is going to be a little bit easier because I didn't go crazy aggressive on the compound. This is all the intricacies that I get into, but just wanted to share that with you guys. So let's get this foam down, rinsed off. I'm not going to film this. You guys have already seen this truck. It's a pain in the butt to wash. Importantly also, what you guys did not see me do is the whole roof. Now, you probably saw 90% of the paint correction. Some areas I didn't film. The roof's a pain in the butt. I didn't think watching me get up and down off a ladder 40 or 50 times was really that fun for y'all. So, pain in the butt to get up there. I can barely, even on a step stool or stepping on the ramps here, I can hardly reach the middle of the roof. These trucks are so incredibly big. It's insane that this is, you know, like a normal truck people just daily drive. I think they're freaking awesome, but holy smokes are they big. So on to wash process. We'll talk about the wheels when we get there. Gonna figure out how to get these either removed or either do them actually on the truck. I want to be able to coat the barrels on here because that's the important part. Now, of course, we have very small beadlock wheels, so getting back in between and under those can be a real challenge. We'll talk about that as we go on in the video. I'd like to remove the wheels, but we'll kind of see. The suspension on these trucks, they have so much droop on them that 9 times out of 10, you can barely even get the tires off without the jack being at full extension. It just becomes a little bit of a nightmare. So we'll get into that whole process, but pretty thrilled with the paint correction here. It was just finicky. I can show you here on the hood, you can see some polishing haze in there. That is not scratches. The polish, or the compound, I guess, in this case, just did not wipe off well. So let's continue here. Throw you guys back on a time lapse after I get this rinsed down and washed off. So let's do a little before and after. So this is how the wheels are looking currently, and definitely looking quite disgusting. Quite a bit of brake dust on it. Definitely can see dust everywhere, dirt, grime. Suspension just kind of filled over here with all kinds of dirt and grime. Now, I actually already did the rear wheels, and man, oh man, these things literally look brand spanking new. I mean, it is a brand new truck, but honestly, the wheels, it looks like a different wheel. It's so clean. The color is now rich. It's a nice satin finish on here. Very thrilled with how the coating came out here. And the suspension, yeah, you could probably just eat out off of it. So very thrilled with that. Now I'm not going to show you guys doing the front ones here. It's exactly the same procedure. I'll show you the after here. So we're going to get this jacked up, pull the front wheels off now, get the wheels all cleaned up, ready for coating, dial in the suspension. It's going to look great. Now overnight, this actually dried up, and this is our finished engine bay. So again, all I did here, sprayed some Simple Green on here, some pH neutral car wash shampoo, went in there, agitated quite a few areas, sprayed Geon wet coat on it. And the best thing about this is it protects all the plastics here. You'll still see a little bit of water. I'll go back through and just wipe this up before the car leaves. But it's so simple to do. It's not sticky, it's not greasy. It's actually going to repel dirt and water instead of attract it like a very heavily silicone-based dressing on here or anything like that. So pretty thrilled with it. Still a little few points to dial in here. As you can see, we have some smudges here just running around. It's not absolutely perfect yet, but it absolutely will be. All the areas up here on the hood will actually get a little bit of a sealant using P&S bead maker on it. I'll also be using bead maker on top of this. So technically 2 layers of protection, but really going well here. I can't wait to get these front wheels and tires done. Gonna look so much better. So I'll see you once we move the truck back into the bay, ready for polishing. And I have pulled the Raptor outside now. Of course, Colorado decides to give us a cloudy day before this thing leaves tomorrow morning. I'm thrilled with how this came out. So tons of work that I did off camera. It's very hard to film everything on these. It just takes a while. So you guys saw me coat the entire paint in Geon Infinite Base Type 1, and the absolute gloss on this now looks stunning. Importantly, we also coated all of the black plastic trim around the truck, minus the running boards. You can actually not ceramic coat these unless you spray something on here. These are a pain in the butt on all Raptors. I typically just recommend clean them up with some simple green, let them be. You don't need protection on them, just clean them. But the rest of the truck looks insane. So all of this textured plastic around the side that I would call more of a satin paint. You can see it here, kind of this rear bumper section down below here. What I actually did on that was use Geon Mo's Evo. It's more of a paint coating, but it goes on, it makes, you know, really matte painted finishes, silky smooth, turns it more into a satin rather than a dull finish. Absolutely thrilled with that. All the textured black plastic, for example, here in the Ford logo, all of the bed topper here, everything gets hand coated, as you guys saw in the video. Takes an absolutely unbelievable amount of time. As you can see, I've got the door cracked open here. No, that is not panel gaps and fit and finish issues. Areas like in here, all of the mirror, as we have literally bugs on here, destroying my beautiful work, but all of this gets hand coated here around the mirrors. Basically everything up here on the hood. The entire front grille got hand coated as well, and it looks silky smooth. That's exactly what we're going for. So on the bumper here, these painted areas around, again, Geon Mo's Evo. Inside here, G-Technic Permanent Trim Restore. Looks insane. I couldn't be more pleased with it. The wheels came out absolutely amazing. Thrilled with that. Now the tire shine is a little bit on the too shiny, so I'm going to wipe this down once I get it back in the shop. I like to let it sit in there so it can kind of get into the rubber, but you can see, look at the suspension in here. Holy smokes. Absolutely dialed in. Genuinely, I think you could eat your dinner off of this, or lunch, or breakfast, whatever you want, you could definitely do it. Now, inside didn't need a ton of work, but this is how it's looking. Apologize for the bings and bongs here. Not too much to talk about inside. Did a quick wipe down in there. Came out absolutely beautiful. Dialed in the windows, but the truck's completely done. And I gotta say, this project was a lot more time than I would actually like to admit I put into it. These are huge trucks. I don't care what anybody says. An F-150 Raptor is a big boy truck. Like reaching the top middle of the roof up there, getting up and down off the ladder just takes a ton of time. And this metallic black paint was actually kind of a pain in the butt. But let me show you here so you can see what the final results look like. You can see absolutely crystal clear paint, completely scratch free. Happy to show you guys all of this. Again, I wish we would have had a sunshiny day, but zero scratches, zero haze in it. It is absolutely stunning. So thrilled with how this project came out. Now, if you guys are interested in having your truck, car, whatever it may be, detailed by me, all of my information is in the link in the description below. You can reach out to me via cleardetailing.com. Fill out a contact submission with your make, model, what kind of services you're looking to do. I'll be happy to respond to you, get something set up, and get your truck or car looking as good as this Raptor. So thank you guys so much for watching this one. I really, really enjoyed this, although it was a large project. But we'll see you in the next out of spec detailing video very, very soon. Bye-bye.